Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. So if you think Wednesday got weird and Terra Classic just reached a whole new level of strangeness, I don't think you're prepared for this video. So get ready, because this is a big one. This story unraveled throughout the course of probably the past 12 hours. And the more I dug, the more I found. It's a really interesting thing for us to go over here. And I think this is going to get a lot of you really in the mindset that I'm in about this influence that's being used against this blockchain, all of the different bad actors, all of the different people running smear campaigns, and the clear idea to shut this blockchain down by controlling it, by shorting it, by doing whatever they can possible to ensure that this chain dies. So like I said, this is a story that unraveled over about 12 hours. So you're going to need to buckle up for this because there's a lot to go through, but you are going to absolutely love it. So around 12 hours ago, I stumbled across this news article. Breaking: a cryptocurrency exchange decides to terminate operations and close. OpenX, the cryptocurrency company founded by the founders of the bankrupt cryptocurrency company Three Arrows Capital, announced that it will terminate its activities and close down. Very interesting, right? We've been talking about CEX is shutting down, moving into the bull run. But I looked at OpenX and I thought to myself, hang on a minute, I've heard this somewhere before. I have heard this somewhere before. And then it all clicked in my head. And all of a sudden I had this huge rush of information, and all of these different things that had happened all of a sudden made sense. And this missing piece that we've needed for a long time as the LUNC community seems to have fallen in front of me. And this is a really important point. Being a validator of this blockchain is realistically being able to depict all of the lies, all of the crazy stuff that is done to influence this blockchain. And I think these are all of the signs that we're really looking for. So like I said, there's a lot to go into. Bear with me because we're going to have to go over this. So initially, I searched the token. I went straight to Gecko Terminal and I found Open Exchange token, being OX. And we all know what OX is. If you don't know what OX is by now, just leave the video. We all know who it is. We all know who's behind this, right? But I don't need to say that in this video. All I need to do is go over all of the evidence that I found, all of the different information that's available of different people's accounts, of all of these different things, right? So this exchange is shutting down, and there's so many holes to go into with this. So like I said, bear with me. As we can see here, this was clearly a pump and dump scheme. My opinion, just my opinion. I'm not saying it is, I'm not saying it isn't. I'm just saying it looks like it. And honestly, with what we're about to go over, it does lend credence to it. So, like I said, buckle up. If we head over to their website, being the OpenX exchange, it's just for OX. And you're going to understand why it's just for OX pretty shortly. Now, this is a very strange situation, and we've always thought to ourselves, there's something deeper here. It's a very substantial group of people, and a lot of people never believed me that this group of people have multiple accounts. They pretend to be loads of different people, and honestly, they're very good at what they do. They've done these hostile takeovers before. They've shut down other coins before. This is all documented from other people's accounts, like I've been saying. So you've seen the website. You can clearly tell, right, that this is the home of OX token. And if you need more proof, here's the white paper on the website, right? Clearly OX. So like I was saying, there is evidence for us to go through here. So let's bring up the first article. The closure of OpenX, a cautionary tale in crypto markets. So in brief, the crypto markets 2022 crash involved unforgettable figures like Do Kwon. Why would you even mention that here? Coincidence? Probably not. OpenX, associated with Zuzu, is closing after fraudulent activities. Investors should be wary of products developed by dubious individuals. This being the guy behind OpenX, one of a few people behind OpenX. They explain a little bit here about the crash. What I find very interesting is all of the different statements in here. So let's just go through it. The crypto market's collapse in 2022 was set up by some of the names that will not be forgotten for years. For example, Do Kwon, Alex from Celsius, and others. However, Suju and his partner Kyle, who went too far, even defrauding institutional clients, will also be unforgettable. So OpenX is shutting down, like I said, and this is apparently happening according to them through their official announcements. It's going to be happening around the 14th or on the 14th of February, but you need to settle all of your positions before the 7th. So when it was first announced, they rebranded to a name more similar to FTX and then renamed it to OpenX. The name of the company before was obviously Three Arrows Capital. After that, they then changed to GTX and then to OpenX. So back then, we wrote to Suzu and his team were extremely dangerous, defrauding institutional clients and causing losses that could bankrupt crypto lenders. Of course, we also mentioned that this exchange was extra risky. Today, the expected has happened, and according to an announcement on the exchange's website, they will cease operations within February. It's good that bad actors who have caused massive losses in the crypto markets will no longer be able to operate in this field. Investors need to be very cautious about products developed by names with a dubious past. Right? Okay, still with me? Good. Hang in there. We're getting there. We are getting there. So now, let me bring you over to this article, which is about OpenX replacing Flex with Ox. And they changed around 36% of the supply. And let me tell you, Flex users are not happy. In fact, there's a lawsuit case. So like I said, this is a pretty big thing, right? So they've done this sort of thing before. They're good at it, right? And this is what's being said. This is what the evidence pointing to. But there's more evidence. There's more stuff for us out there to go through. And I think it's all very interesting what we're seeing. And honestly, there was a huge warning signal a long time ago, and we're going to get into that as well. So let me bring this one up. This is another article explaining about hobbled crypto exchanges. Creditors are suing its CEO and want to claw back money from Bitcoin Jesus. This is a very, very familiar name. Very familiar to our blockchain. I mean, even to the point of where you're posting shorts saying you're receiving visions, right? This is all part of this characteristic thing that I'm finding. So we just don't know who's who at the moment. Now, like I said, what's happened here is in early 2023, CoinFlex CEO Mark Lamb was in search of a life rope. Okay? Bear with me, because there's a lot to go through. So it explains basically about GTX being formed and then moving to CoinFlex, and CoinFlex being this sort of situation that was being merged in, and it was all supposed to work in the benefit of the community. So now creditors of CoinFlex say that Mark Lamb was in breach of his fiduciary duties at CoinFlex when he started the claims platform, which has since rebranded to OpenX. In a Hong Kong civil court filing, CoinFlex's creditors dated October 12th, OpenX is referred to as a competing business to CoinFlex and is named as a co-defendant alongside Lamb and CoinFlex investor Roger Ver. It's a really big guy. This is a Bitcoin millionaire. So really, really big guy, big money. So the creditors frame the newer platform as a kind of cynical off-ramp, this being OpenX, and his closest associates, and they say that he should be barred from acting or speaking on CoinFlex's behalf moving forward. So like I said, we've got a lot of evidence pointing to all of these different things. So with all of that, like I said, you've got the long pause. I know it's a lot to take in. Bear with me. You've got the statement in there. Let me bring it back up. You've got the statement in there of them saying about being a competing business. All of a sudden, after going into a deal with CoinFlex, suddenly OpenX becomes the competing business. And then next thing you know, 36% of the Flex supply is merged into Ox, right? So let's keep going. Let's scroll down a little bit more. So when the GTX deck leaked, so this is back when, before they rebranded to OpenX, When the GTX deck leaked, the idea of Zhu and Davey starting a new venture, one focused on crypto bankruptcies, at that was viewed by some as deeply ironic and maybe even a joke. A company name resembling the biggest crypto crash in history, FTX, didn't dispel that impression. While CoinFlex and so many other crypto platforms are now defunct, however, GTX isn't. Renamed OpenX, the platform launched publicly in April 2023, has been live since then. Now, keep that date in your head, April 2023, really important. Like I said, we've got more to go through here. So back in April 2023, the 10th specifically, there's an article written, Crypto Researcher Exposes OpenX's Marketeer Manipulative Behavior. It's unbelievable, right? It's unbelievable. And this is why you should be delegating with a validator like me, because I go the extra mile. I dig deep. I look for the facts. Now, Fatman Terra has leaked a message back in. The person running OpenX marketing account, also known as LUNC, was responsible for much of the hype around Terra Classic, shield anchor heavily, and has a dark past in several ways. I think he is worse even than Sue or Kyle, more on him at a later stage. His words, not mine. Now, this is the supposed message that was leaked to Fatman. Just so you know, he has 8+ characters and a complete psychopath. He's friends with DK, and we believe he was paid to eliminate LUNC somehow. Last year, he pretended LUNC was great, and when SBF FTX fraud thing came in, he took the chance to manipulate the LUNC community to drop LUNC and buy Luna 2. Approximately October-November 2022, he told everyone he used to work with DK and was in touch with him. He also said that DK had been framed and was innocent of all charges. Notice how November 2022 comes up in this again. Very significant date to the coincidence video we've been through previously. Part 1 of what we're talking about here, right? Coincidence? Oh, I don't know. I'm just asking the questions here. So the amount of manipulation, attempted hijack, scam, fraud, that is horrific. It's believed he also owns numerous validators. He has attempted to bring down all nodes, which he did, and CZ Binance also. We believe this is to hijack LUNC. He definitely has been paid, possibly by DK, and this is what Robin, Cephii, is, etc. all do for work and have been doing so for years. So like I said, significance in them being paid, significance in November 2022. Keep this in your head, okay? Now, these guys are not even... The word I used on Wednesday was brazen. It's brazen for them to do something like this. It's brazen for them to continue to use the name Moonrabbit just to have that little internal joke like, it's right there in front of them, but they can't even find it. So let's bring up Google search. And literally all you need to do is search what I've got here at the top, okay? And what do we see here? Oh, OX is LUNC the Terra scammer has renamed himself to FlexDAO and is now helping Kyle and Sue run OpenX social media. Right? Can you imagine how all of these Flex investors feel that have been totally ripped off? They're trying to claw back all of their investments. And basically, right, they've just done this many times before, which has been openly stated in these different articles that we've gone through. These are all serious things that are going on. So at the same time, right, we've seen the warning signals back then from someone who was known to be a bit of a fudder. I'm not going to lie. He is a bit of a fudder. But clearly, there's a lot of truth to this influence, this attempt to control the chain. Now, I say to everybody, if these people are professionals at what they do, okay? If they're professionals at what they do and they're so interwoven with all of these different aliases, we've got this Moonrabbit group that don't want to dox, don't want to voice dox, never heard any of their voices, never seen them in any spaces as speakers, won't come on the podcast. It starts to bring up a lot of different questions. But like I said, we've seen the significance of the November 2022 date. So now what I want to do is bring up OpenX's Twitter. Let's have a look at who they're following. We can see 1, we can see 2, We can see the man himself. We can see Mark Lamb. We can see all of these people that are being mentioned are all interwoven into this thing. Now, like I said, right, OpenX is shutting down. And what I find quite funny about this is, what I find really funny about this, and I'm going to need to bring it up, is the homepage. Now, this is all based around being able to stake the token. And bearing in mind, they offer 200%, I think it's a 200% reward on your staking and different things like that. So for me, this is all very interesting stuff. And now we're seeing a lot of substantial and circumstantial evidence coming forward, right, to show us that these people are professionals at what they do. They know what they're doing. They've done it many times before. We've got the evidence to support it. It's out there. So let's take a look at this other article that I have found from 23rd of November, 2023. Really important date, right? I know, keeps coming up. Can't help it. Must be just a coincidence. But I'm just asking the questions here. So let me bring it up. CoinFlex creditors dissatisfied with restructuring to OpenX. This gets very interesting in here. Now, we've already gone over that this is all a legal case and there's stuff going on in the courts. People have actually been jailed. Someone's hiding out somewhere else. This is all according to this article, so to speak. But there are documents in here. And what I think is the most important part of this document is the endorsement of claim. Now, if we look at points A, B, and C, formulating and or implementing plans for and or otherwise devoting time, attention, skill and or effort to the setting up and operation of a competing business via inter alias, the third and or fourth defendants and or their associated companies competing business. B, diverting clients' business and or business opportunities away from the first or second plaintiffs to the competing business, including but not limited to the plaintiff's entire customer base. C, misappropriating and or otherwise wrongfully using the assets, human resources, intellectual properties, confidential information and or records, trade secrets, and other technologies, including interface, source code, and any technical documentations of the plaintiff in establishing and or operating the competing business, including but not limited to entering into the purported license agreement defined below and the purported asset purchase agreement defined below. Very interesting stuff, right? And there's more to this case. There's a lot of case documents I'm going to need to get and I'm going to need to get over. This video is almost 20 minutes long, so there's probably going to be a part 3 to this weirdness at this point. But like I said, there's a lot of evidence around this, okay? All of the different dates, all of the different names, all of the different people that are involved in this. We can see that from the following on Twitter and all of the different pieces of information that are pointing to all of this manipulation, this huge cluster of fake accounts that's all clearly been made to manipulate this chain and do whatever they wish to do for it. So for me, right, this has been all really good stuff we've gone through here. So what I think we need to do as a community, and if you're a CoinFlex user listening to this, reach out to me. Reach out to me or reach out to someone in the LUNC community and speak to some of us. Let us know what happened. Anything that we might not know that you know may be helpful to us and vice versa. Because at the end of the day, we're going to need to get to the bottom of this. We really are going to need to get to the bottom of this because this is a company that keeps rebranding, keeps swallowing up coins, keeps doing all of these different things. And we've got serious evidence showing us that they are manipulating the chain. They are doing these different things. And that's not me saying, yes, they're doing it, but the evidence is pointing to those kind of conclusions, right? If we were to ask the questions, those are the kind of answers we're going to get given more than likely. So this whole kind of bad actors cult and their manipulation, it's there. We all know it's there. I get smear campaigns against me all the time. You know, if HCC leaves the chain, I'll pump the price of LUNC. LUNC will do so much better. Well, yeah, you know, Ox token's doing absolutely peachy at the moment, isn't it? absolutely peachy. I don't know what you folks think, right? This is really strange. And like I said, we've got all of these coincidences now. We've got all of these dates. We've got all of these different things that are starting to align together. The case is starting to unravel more. And what I honestly think is, and as you can see on the chart, it's not far from the bottom. It's really not far from the bottom at this point, that, like it states in that article, this is just a runway, an exit platform. And then they're on to the next thing. How do we know that LUNC hasn't been the next thing that they've been lining up? So it's at this point in time, we need to wise up. We need to support the correct validators, those who are putting in the work, the time, the effort, the energy to be here, to care about the blockchain, to go and look, take the time to find all of these kind of different things. Because I can tell you what, people sitting in their Twitter spaces aren't doing stuff like this, right? They're not going through court documents, sitting there reading through things all hours of the night to get to the truth. And that's the difference here with what we provide for the LUNC community. We're always here, and we've always seen to get these good things that lead us to the evidence that we're seeking. I think this is really important. I think a lot of people are going to be buzzing about this today. It's definitely something that puts a light on everything. And instead of just a few people muttering about this and them sort of going, oh, nothing to see here, nothing to see here. Well, clearly there's a lot to see here. Clearly there's a lot to see here. What I'm going to be doing is leaving links to absolutely everything that we've just gone over here. So you can all go over it. You can all share it. And you can do your own research and you can make your own judgment from your own perspectives. But other than that, consider dropping a like. Consider delegating LUNC with us. Drop a subscription if you haven't already. Other than that, folks, stay safe, stay humble, stay aware. And as always, I'll catch you in the next one.